Welcome to VEDA Day 10. I just woke up and Grams and I are watching Supernatural. Tut tut, looks like rain. Hey viewers, okay, so I figured I would do today's vlog early because there are some days where I just don't want to get on the computer. So sometimes I just don't, but like today I have work to be done on the computer. I have to organize some things for the Earth Day service, I have to email my committee, I want to keep editing and uploading these videos so you guys can get them on time. So I'm gonna go on the internet today, but I really just didn't want to do it yet. So I thought that I would go outside and work on today's vlog. And also, question for you guys, comment question if you will. Are you the type of person who, no matter what you're doing that day, even if you're not going anywhere, you get dressed up? Or like, you get ready to be seen in public even if you're not going to? Or are you the kind of person that really will just like wear whatever sloppy thing until you absolutely have to get dressed? Like I know Tara from Pagan Perspective, she said that she doesn't believe in wearing pants in the house. Like if you're wearing jeans in her house, that's not acceptable because it's not comfortable enough. I don't know if she watches my personal channel videos, but that's what I thought of. Anyway, because it occurred to me as I was putting on my boots to walk out here, I didn't want to change out of my sweatpants, so I put on my tall boots so that I could tuck in my sweatpants so they wouldn't get all muddy walking around in the mud. So I look extremely fashionable right now. My pink sweatpants tucked into my black boots, and I'm just wearing a long men's blue t-shirt from my college. It was my boyfriend's shirt. I slept in it last night, so I just put sweatpants on with it, and then I put on my green sweater. And it just occurred to me that like if I were doing an outfit of the day every day instead of just vlog every day, like you guys would not be impressed with what I wear. But I feel like some of you could relate to that, so I was just wondering, like, do you guys get dressed even if you're not going anywhere, or are you like me and if you're not doing anything, you might literally just be wearing pajamas or whatever? And then of course there's also the people who, like me, when I have a private bedroom, not here where people walk through my bedroom, people who sleep in the nude or in underwear, and then we have to get dressed in the morning even if we just put on pajamas. Weirdness. Anyway, so we are in the woods and we're actually approaching the road. The road is that way, you can hear it. But there's all these cool vines and things back here. This is an area of the woods that I never really played in as a little kid because it's so close to the road, but it's also so hard to get through normally, but because it's spring and the leaves haven't started growing back, you can see, so I can kind of find my way through it. Anyway, so what I'm doing today so far, I woke up and it's been thunderstorming the past couple of days. Here come the April showers, right? And so, oh my gosh, tripping over things, I'm getting caught in thorns. I'm gonna have burrs all over me, and earlier today I accidentally forgot I had Nutella on my finger and wiped it on my sweatpants. Like, ah, great. My boyfriend was making fun of me for that. So far today, I have just been enjoying the storm outside and drinking coffee and working on some notes for things that I'm doing, contemplating doing some spellcraft tonight because it is the new moon, and I put out a bowl to collect rainwater from the storms. So I'm working on a list of all of the theater stuff that I've ever done, which I started last summer when I was doing I was an intern for an elementary workshop of The Secret Garden. You guys might remember me blogging or vlogging about that. And the kids asked me, so how many shows have you been in? And I had to explain to them that that's a really hard question once you go to college, because for them, they can be like, oh, I've been in 27 shows, and they mean 27 plays or musicals. But for me, once I went to college and did theater there, it is no longer just 2-act plays and 2-act musicals, but it is also 1-act plays, readings, blitzes, directing scenes, you know, so some of them might be memorized, some of them might be a script in hand reading, it might be a well-rehearsed reading, it might be a 2-act, it might be a 1-act, like, it depends on what you mean. So I've been trying to update that list even more because I want to have an extended resume. So this is where I ended up. I looked over here and I saw these piles of junk, and this is where I ended up. It's like a service road that goes out to the main road. Anyway, yeah, so I've been working on trying to remember all of the things that I've done. Gonna fall over, got it. And I'm also writing a chalice lighting for our Earth Day service because I didn't really like any of the chalice lightings, and our last meeting was to go over what songs and readings we were gonna use. We didn't like the chalice lighting, so I said that I usually write my own things when I do my own rituals or rites or whatever, and so they thought it would be a great idea for me to write a chalice lighting if I wanted to, because they think that having new and unique things is really good. I'm gonna go back down the other way now because I don't want to end up at my aunt and uncle's house. It's gonna be really embarrassing if I fall now because I'm looking at the camera. Okay, so this is how you get over muddy ground. So if you guys ever get to read my mom's book, my mom wrote a book, like a young adult fiction type thing, but we never published it because we don't really understand the whole process. But my mom and I are both writers, and I helped her with some stuff. But if you ever read her book, you'll understand, knowing that this is where we grew up. Well, she didn't, yeah, she grew up here kind of. Why her book is all about creatures that live in moss. Because if you haven't noticed, the woods are just full of moss. It's like the biggest thing. And the sort of yard right by Grandma's house where we lived, I'll show you when we get back up there, but instead of grass, the ground cover is mostly moss, which I think is cool because in my field biology class we were talking about how lawns and like regular grass that you have to grow actually takes up a lot of water, and so it's not that great for the environment to have to keep a lawn made of grass. But around here, there's not really much grass at all. We've got, okay, you can see some grass, but it's also mostly moss and some other clover type things. That's a really cool little remainder of a tree. Oh, and now we're back at these vine things, so I just did a circle. This is how I find stuff. So this is old pine tree. Fine example of nature taking back over. Okay, here's a good example. So this is the start of our driveway. That's the house, my grandma's house. And this is the hill across the driveway. It's mostly moss. There's some grass coming up and some of this little curly stuff, but most of the ground cover is moss, and I think that's really cool. And I never really noticed that as a kid. In our old house where I used to live with my mom and her husband and my brother, we had a grass lawn, and then I took a course. So then as soon as I came back here, this is like the first thing I noticed was that everything is moss, which I think is really cool because there's a place up there on the hill in like the front yard area of our house where I wanted to plant my herbs, and it's completely moss covered, but moss is so cool because all you have to do is pick it up and it kind of pulls back just like a carpet or a rug, and it's rich soil underneath. So I could easily put my plants in there and then just fold the moss back over to cover around it. So I think that's really cool, and I would love to do that if I do end up staying here. But anyway, this is getting kind of long, and I don't know, I just hoped that it would be more entertaining than yesterday's super boring vlog, since I didn't really talk about anything then. Yeah, hope you enjoyed taking a walk with me. My boots are getting kind of wet. I have waterproofing spray for shoes and for whatever else really, but I haven't used it on these yet. So they just get totally soaked through. So I have to do that. But this is the little area where I wanted to make my garden, because there's kind of this circle of trees around it, and I could put my garden there. I could build little walls in between the trees, and oh my gosh, just a little kid again. This is all I used to do. My brother and I would build forts up here, and so if I get to stay, I'm looking forward to the warm season and being able to do that again up here. Okay, now I'm back inside, so I figured I would put on something a little bit less messy since I'm not all gross in the woods anymore. So I have my little 70s looking dress that I love so much. So I'm gonna get back to working on stuff, and I just wanted to close this vlog formally by saying thank you very much for watching. Until next time, don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.